Okay, here with Charlie Nikitas, North Shore, Chicago, golfer. Charlie, tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of your golf career so far, kind of where you went to school, all the broad strokes.
So I grew up in Glenview. I went to Glenbrook South and graduated in 2017 and went to Miami of Ohio for my undergrad. I played 4 years there, went to school an extra semester, and then I played my last semester of COVID at Alabama, and now I'm kind of living back and forth from Scottsdale, Arizona, and back in Chicago, just playing golf.
Playing
So
professional
it's
golf, which is exciting.
pretty.
So let's get it. So what was the difference I'd want to know between a mid-major Miami, of Ohio versus SEC Alabama?
Oh man, uh, like I think the major things that really like stick out right away are like just as blunt as possible, like the amount of money that
Right.
is, and to be honest with you, like my time at Miami was like unbelievable. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I think there's a lot of lessons that obviously Coach Edric and just being in Oxford teach you, whether it's how to work hard. Like it's not like we didn't have the best facilities. Like we worked real hard with what we had, um, and I think there's just some things that you are taught. You just kind of build a sense of toughness with like having to do a lot of your own stuff. And like in those 4 years, I didn't know that that wasn't like normal necessarily.
Right.
And then I transferred to Alabama, and it's like all of a sudden, like we have all the best facilities, we have all the best, whether it's like we're driving a sprinter van around the place or flying private or like whatever it is, which a lot of those things don't necessarily correlate to like good golf, obviously. But there's just a lot more things available to you um, in like a day-to-day basis, workout facilities, trainers, whether it's rehab stuff, obviously the golf facilities and golf courses, and just kind of doors that are open. But uh,
Right.
honestly, like the biggest thing is money, and I will say that a lot of it doesn't necessarily even correlate to the golf stuff.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Now, kind of take us to the beginning. When did you kind of start getting into the game and started loving it?
Dude, so I obviously my family a little bit. I grew
Yeah.
up in a basketball household, so that was kind of all we did growing up. Like it was practice to practice. I was going to my brother's games, and eventually, like I want to say, like right around sixth grade, I like started to pick up a golf club, and like I didn't know the difference between a 9 iron and a 6 iron. I just like kind of hit it, and
Right.
I think I probably played my first tournament right around sixth or seventh grade. I wasn't very good. I was probably shot 90 something. But it was fun, and like it was just totally different. So then my freshman year of high school, I made the varsity team as a freshman, and I was like, oh my god, felt like a big deal at the time, and that was something that I was interested in doing and trying to get better. And so I quit playing basketball and just kind of started to work at it. And I wasn't even that serious about it even into like sophomore year of high school. I played the summer league with the basketball team, and like I was still kind of back and forth and didn't really know. But I'd say junior year of high school was when I was like really decided that was what I was going to do. And that's where like you kind of got to start. I was a late bloomer in all sense of the
Yeah.
word, and I just kind of started to get a little bit recruited to school. I had no idea like what level I could play at, what how good I was, and Patrick and Brian were huge in kind of helping expose me to some college coaches, obviously with Miami especially. But I'd say right around junior year, honestly, was when I decided like this is what I'm gonna do, um, and then kind of progressed from there.
Cool. Nice. Um, I guess now transitioning college career really solid. Um, how's the first couple pro starts gone?
Pretty good, to be
Yeah.
totally honest. I felt like I was super prepared to make the jump, which I think a lot of things had gone into that. My 4 years at Miami, obviously getting a lot of advisement from Coach Zedrick, learning a ton from Patrick and Patrick Clave and Brian Orr, for those who don't know. Um, and then my last semester, I think I made a pretty big jump in terms of just understanding what it takes, and kind of learning from people with a huge amount of experience. Obviously, with Justin Thomas going to Alabama, having the credibility of my head coach and my assistant coach who had played with Justin Thomas at school and had a pretty long career playing professional golf, just kind of having their set of eyes on me at all times, for those 4 or 5 months was a huge thing that I think really helped prepare me to like make the next step. And I felt like that was, I mean, I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I still talk to Coach Edrick. I still talk to both coaches at Alabama. And I think like I was saying, the credibility of having like, hey, this is something that Justin Thomas did while he was at school, and there's Trey Mullinax and Lee Hodges and guys on tour, Davis Riley. You kind of learn habits and just ways to get better and how people go about certain things, whether it's on the road, whether it's preparation at home, things like that. So I felt like I was super prepared to just like kind of get my feet wet and jump into it. And I made a bunch of cuts this summer. I played a couple Mondays, and like that's a whole different story playing Monday qualifier.
Yeah, let's get into that. So what's kind of the mindset into a Monday qualifier?
Dude, it doesn't feel like real golf. Like
just make 18 birdies. Try to.
Yeah, like it's just there's no other way to describe it other than like doesn't feel like golf. Obviously Patrick Flavin has had a ton of success. Right. So like having to pick his brain a little bit on it is great, but like something where like you make the turn at like 1 under, and you're like, well, like I better go find something. Like, and you go try to make 6 back 9, whereas you're playing a 54 hole event or 72 hole event, and like you're 1 under. It's not really like you don't really have a ton of stuff going on, but you just have to hit the gas and try to make a bunch of birdies. And sometimes you do, and sometimes like all of a sudden you shoot 3 over because like you hit it at a pin that you should never ever hit it at.
Right.
It's fun and like it's a completely different challenge. And I will say that you just can't take what happens on Mondays too seriously, to be honest with you, because if you live and die by the Monday qualifiers, you're gonna get burnt out real quick.
It'll be a stressful road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can imagine. Cool. Well, personally, what are you working on in your swing right now? I know you're more of a feel guy, but
yeah, I'm honestly not a swing guy. And I even became less of a swing guy over the last probably year or so. And that was partly, I mean, my swing coach is unbelievable and he's very knowledgeable, but if I'm going to work with him for an hour, it's like 90% like how I'm going about. So I got 2 weeks off and then I'm going to play here, and then I have a week off going to play here. It's much more trying to help me like plan my time, do the right stuff so that I'm prepared when I get on the road, and less like technical swing stuff. We'll do a lot of short game. He's a great putter, so it's just kind of like building confidence, practice for confidence.
Right.
And obviously there's things that need to be worked on in the golf swing, like you do them. But he said to me a couple ago, if there's, I've worked with him since my junior year of high school, and he's like, dude, if there's like major changes that we need right now, like me and you both messed up over the last 4 or 5 years. So it's kind of like working with what I got, and like I'm pretty so.
Cool. That's awesome. Any advice to help someone else, maybe a high school kid's watching this, maybe a 20 handicap's watching this? Any advice for the average golfer?
Just how to get better?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh man, I think it's like step 1 is work hard. And like work on the right stuff, and whether that's beating balls for somebody who doesn't hit it great or putting for somebody who does. And I just think there's like a recipe for everybody, and it's never the same for 2 people. And I think that's one thing that in college is hard, because there's a group of, I mean, how big's your roster now? 10?
Yeah, we got 11.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's hard with one coach to like be able to coach a group while also trying to coach the individual. Because there's no like, I always joke about Coach Zedrick coaching me and coaching Cam Solomon. There's if he coached me and Cam the same way, I don't think either of us could break par ever.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think that has to be for everybody. And once you kind of work your way through and find yours, then you just like you work on what makes you good, and that's like that's I think my biggest piece of advice, I guess you could
Yeah.
call it. But that's something I've really like kind of honed in on is just like how do I beat people and go beat that to the ground and get really good at what you do.
Nice. That was awesome. A couple maybe unrelated questions, but I know professional golf, sure it's playing, but it's a lot of driving and nights in a hotel room. Um, Favorite meal on the road?
Dude, I've been talking. So I just got home from second stage, and I've been talking to my parents about how like it's great. You get like Chick-fil-A like the first couple days on the road, and then all of a sudden you're on like day number 9, and you just don't want to eat anything.
Right.
But I'm a Chipotle guy through and through.
Okay.
But dude, I played 2 events this summer that didn't have a Chipotle within 100 miles of the place,
Oh,
which
jeez.
third. So I struggled. I
Should be
struggled with that.
illegal. Gosh.
Yeah, Chipotle guy for sure.
Sweet. Go-to music.
Somebody asked me that this morning. My trainer asked me that this morning, and I said, "Dude, I sat in the car for 13 hours. You can't be listening to one type of music.
Right.
I'll find some weird stuff, but I'm a country guy. I like some indie stuff. Like, kind of, it's hard for me to find music that I don't like. But if I had to listen to one for the rest of my life, it'd probably just be country.
Good. Good answer.
Yeah, dude, like,
And then anything you're binging right now on Netflix?
dude, so I've had a couple days off. This is like my like off season, I guess.
Sure.
Before I head to Arizona, I just found this show. I literally don't even know what it's called, but it's like a Australian surfer show. I think it's new. Just I just saw it yesterday. I clicked it, but I'm an animal. It's called Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Not animals, but it's like a crime like whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good show. But this Australian surfer show is pretty legit too.
Interesting. Well, I will have to check it out. Any last words?
I don't think so, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks for making the time. This was sweet.
Yeah, dude, cool deal you got going on and trying to help people get better. So anything I can do, let me know. Awesome. Hopefully we get to play golf soon.
Better, yeah. Appreciate you, Chuck. Thank you.
Thanks, man.